Hey, adventurers, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining in, and forgive the swamp face because it's the South here in Georgia. Yeah, and the humidity is at 200%, which is pretty normal for these parts. So, in the spring and summer, a wet face is what you're usually going to see, no matter what time of day it is. But here I am out having my own little adventure. Show you what I got going. Here we go. Look at this gorgeousness, this peacefulness. No fish yet, but I think there's one right over there. I'm waiting on them. But thank you for joining in. I really do appreciate you joining on this little jaunt, this on foot adventure today. But I have something for you. I have a topic, and that is last week. Last week I talked to you guys and said I was going to play Dungeons and Dragons again. And I did. I went last Wednesday and played Dungeons and Dragons at Heroes and Villains in Warner Robins, Georgia. It's off Russell Parkway. Had a great time. Fantastic time. The table was very welcoming. They turned into the energy I was able to match quickly and understand my role coming into the table, what my character needed to bring, right? So I brought it. It's there. And I'm going back this Wednesday. In 2 days, I'm going back. I've made some slight changes to the character. Nothing that's going to affect anything really. But I do have to talk to my DM to make sure he's aware and that the changes are going to be a-okay and acceptable. But what we did, to give you a little, what do they call it? Synopsis? No. I'm giving you a little brief of what happened. I started off in the fight, or in the adventure. They had just finished a fight defeating some barbarians or giants or something to that effect around this humongous tree. Nothing special about the tree apparently, but they had this fight in front of the tree, and that's where my character came in. Now they were deciding they were going to fly, because we have griffins, and we're going to fly up to this destination. And as we're flying to this destination, we come across a barbarian village, and we land on the outskirts of this village before we even get to the walls, right? And we come across a barbarian out in the woods with a small hunting group gathering and hunting. That NPC told us that we had a Cuba situation going on in the barbarian camp. In other words, there was one person in charge, and he had all the power, all the riches, all the wealth, but everyone around him was in squabble. And they thought for sure, as barbarians do, right, that if someone else was in control, it would be completely different. Right, okay. So our little band of adventurers decided, why not? We'll go take care of this guy and make the change for him. So we did. We went there, got into the fight with the main group, and the battle went very off the rails from where I think the DM had intended it. But our little group, our table, made quick work of the end. And as I play a hare folk or rabbit folk ranger, and as my little gimmick that I'm gonna be doing with this character is I'm gonna take the foot of each one of my enemies, or my boss enemies. I'm gonna take their foot, kind of like how people have always taken lucky rabbit's feet. Same idea. But I laid this out onto the group when we started to go into this fight. I said, okay guys, I don't know if y'all are aware, but according to barbarian rule, once we defeat this guy, they're not putting no one else in charge. We're the captains. This is our tribe now. So with some deliberation, that was agreed upon, and now we know we have the possession of a 300 plus man barbarian tribe. A little odd for a first night start, right? But I set a tone. I set the pace. So we're going to keep that energy going. Now, talking about keeping that energy going, you see what shirt I have on today, y'all? I don't know if you can read it backwards, but it says, I ride for the forgotten. Who's the forgotten? Is that an MC? Is that a club that other people want to ride for, and that. No, it's nothing like that, guys. Nothing like that at all. What Forgotten is, it stands for Forgotten Angels. And what the Forgotten Angels are, is David and Cindy down in Tampa, Florida. Now what they do is they take the young men and women who have aged up and out of the foster care system. What I mean by that, on their 18th birthday, they become an adult. And once you become an adult, the state no longer pays the foster parents for that person to live there. So the adult is removed from the equation and sent out to live on his or her own. Now, ladies, gentlemen, folks, creatures of all shapes and sizes, you know how rough life is. You know how rough the world can be, and especially if you haven't been given the tools and been shown how to sharpen the stick so you can make a tool for yourself, or anything, not being taught the core fundamentals that we take for granted as adults, sets them so far behind that it's almost impossible for them to recover. That's where David and Cindy come in. They bring in these young men and women, and they give them the tools to be successful. They teach them what they need to be looking for, how they need to act, how they need to what they need to do to reach their goals, to become happy individuals. And ladies and gentlemen, folks, creatures of all shapes and sizes, it doesn't matter. That should be your goal. Becoming happy, being a happy person, and helping your neighbors be happy too. Look out your window, and if you see a neighbor's kid, you should see that kid and want to protect that child right off the rip. No matter what the parents have said, no matter what the parents have done, that child should be within your protection. And just because these young men and women have aged up and they're over 18, they're no longer children, that doesn't change anything. That doesn't change anything at all. I know my kids are grown, but I'll swing a bat for them. Let that sink in, guys. While you give it a thought, reach out to them, show them some love, show them some support. The new raffle bike is already up, y'all. It's a Florida bike. Actually, it is. It is a really nice Florida vibe bike. Go to Shade Tree Surgeon's channel, check it out, and put in your raffle tickets for it. If you don't, I will.